Hi everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Apple's November event and what they announced. It's a great year to be a tech enthusiast with many new disruptive technologies that are coming out. And surprisingly, Apple might have moved the industry forward the most. Today we're going to be talking about Apple's new Mac announcements and the announcement of their new silicon chip and what it means for the computing industry. Let's get into it. This November 2020, Apple held their One More Thing Mac event. At this event, they announced the new Apple M1 chip as well as 3 new Macs. First, let's talk about the M1 chip a little bit. The new moniker breaks from the convention that Apple has followed with their iPhone and iPad chips for the Macs. They want to show that they took the best of the architecture from the iPads and put it into the Mac. And that's reflected in the performance gains you're able to see from the new Macs running the new M1 chip. One of the main innovations of the M1 chip is that it has a unified memory architecture, which means the CPU and GPU share the same memory. If you want an analogy of this, imagine an architect and an engineer have to work together. They don't often share the same blueprint, I think, and there can be difficulties in communicating between the two. It's the same with the CPU and GPU. The information that's read and used by the CPU is sometimes different than the information used by the GPU, but with this unified memory architecture, both parts of the chip can access the same memory, which means that the M1 chip has to essentially do less work to get you the same results. With the new chip design, Apple is able to pack in 8 CPU cores on the M1 chip, 4 high power cores and 4 high efficiency cores. The high efficiency cores only consume 1/10 of the power of the high performance cores, and even with that, it has the same level of performance as the dual-core Macbook Airs that Apple has been selling for the last year. More importantly, the M1 chip brings hardware-level acceleration for many different tasks that you enjoyed on your iPad and your iPhone. There's the Neural Engine, the Secure Enclave is built into the SoC. It's built on the new 5nm fabrication node, which means that each individual component in the chip is the smallest that they've ever been, and Apple is packing 16 billion transistors inside this device. As for the GPU, Apple wasn't fully clear on exactly what the specs are, but it comes with up to 8 GPU cores, which was able to give you up to 2.6 teraflops of performance, which is slightly less performance than you're able to get with a PS4 Pro. But considering that this is an integrated chip that's part of the M1, this is incredible performance. macOS Big Sur was also given a release date. It's coming out this Thursday, and it's built to take advantage of the M1 chip in its fullest. All of the computers running Apple's M1 chip will be able to have instant on functionality, something that until recently you were only able to do on the iPad and the iPhone. Now let's get into the big announcements. Apple has updated 3 different Macs with the M1 chip for this year, with more updates coming in the future. The first one that they announced is the new updated Macbook Air. They took the same design as the previous generation, but they took out the fan, put in the new chip with a new logic board, and the performance leap is astounding. The new Macs have up to 3 times faster CPU performance, up to 5 times faster graphics performance, and an SSD that's up to twice as fast as the previous generation. All of this with 15 hours of battery when web browsing and up to 18 hours of battery when watching videos. The Retina display has also been updated to include the P3 color gamut as standard. All of this without a change in the price. The new MacBook Air still starts at $999 and $899 if you're an education customer. The big surprise that I didn't expect to see at today's event is the Mac Mini update. The new Mac Mini replaces the old one with the same design, but the new chip inside. With the new chip, you're getting up to 6 times faster graphics performance and up to 15 times faster machine learning inference performance. What's most exciting to me as someone who is a developer is that TensorFlow supports hardware acceleration on the M1 chip. You're practically getting desktop level performance in a Mac that's as wide as your hand and as thick as 3 fingers. The most incredible part of this announcement is that the new Macs are actually starting at $100 less than the previous generation, at $699. I think this is going to be the killer product for many. Everyone likes the Mac Mini design, and the biggest drawback with the Mac Mini was the performance up until recently. With the M1 chip, Apple has brought the Mac Mini back from the grave, revitalized what you can do with the device, and made it more friendly to consumers. Now, the big product announcement that we were waiting to see is the MacBook Pro. Apple updated the 13-inch MacBook Pro in today's event. The CPU is up to 3 times faster than last year's, and the GPU is up to 5 times faster than last year's. The hardware accelerated machine learning is up to 11 times faster as well. Now, one of the most important things in this new Mac, it's able to play back full resolution ProRes footage on DaVinci Resolve with no dropped frames. This means that if you are a video editor or someone who requires a powerful device, you no longer need to opt for the 15 or 16-inch MacBook Pro if you want something portable that's still high power. You can now get the 13-inch MacBook Pro, and you'll still have all of the power that you would have had with a bigger Mac in this smaller 13-inch form factor. The increased efficiency of the new chips means that you're able to get 17 hours of web browsing and up to 20 hours of video playback on battery with the new MacBook Pro. This is the largest battery life we've seen in a Mac to date. The price for the new MacBook Pro is also staying the same at $1299 and $1199 for education customers. With these announcements, Apple is showing what's possible when you have hardware and software teams working together to build a computer that people will want. The incredible performance they're able to achieve with their new computers wouldn't have been possible if the Mac's hardware teams and the software teams were part of different companies. This is something that Apple is uniquely positioned to do in the industry. But with these changes and the improvements that Apple is able to bring with their new Macs, I think they're going to encourage the computer industry to shift the way they think about personal computing. And this is likely going to spur innovation and competition in the computing space from other PC hardware and software vendors. I have to say though, I expected Apple to get good performance out of these silicon chips. I just didn't expect the jump to be this extreme. I'm really excited to see what Apple has moving forward, and I'm very curious how these devices will perform in real life. We'll find out as we start seeing reviews of these products and people using them out in the wild. I will go in depth on the new Apple silicon chip and the new Macs, more in depth, and what it means for developers, prosumers, and the average consumers in later videos. So make sure you stay subscribed to the channel so that you can see those videos when they come out. Drop a like from this video if you found this video helpful. That's it from me today, and remember to always keep learning. Bye!